Nah, I swap bodies with people all the time. Of course this is an avatar glitch!
Oh no! What if we're stuck like this forever?
This joint looks mighty fucking familiar. Remember when we seen this before? Yep, you guessed it. Villains of Valley View.
Take that off. I cannot.
That's fair.
Are you serious?
Oh, I've never been more serious.
Dennis Rodman, is that you?
That's weird, man. That's too weird.
So yeah, we finally caught up on the Bill Elliott installment of the Goldbergs, and I'm not the Goldbergs, that girl Lele, what the fuck am I talking about? This is Nickelodeon, not fucking ABC, but, you know, finally got the Bill Elliott installment of Lele, and I noticed while I was watching it that I was starting to feel a little bit better. I'm starting to breathe a little better again. I'm still coughing, I'm still, you know, sneezing on and off, but my nose is starting to clear up, and my throat doesn't hurt no more, and whenever snot comes out of my nose, even when I was feeling like shit, it was always clear. So therefore, I don't think I need to go to the doctor, because I don't think this is fucking serious, but I'm doing a little better, and it's actually looking good for me to return to work come Wednesday for when we do, oh my god, what installment of the Goldbergs is gonna be? I fucking lost count until I always lose count, and I mean, still early in the season, so I can always go back to TikTok and stuff and YouTube here on YouTube to, you know, double check this stuff. But hopefully, I think by Wednesday we're gonna go back to the drawing board. You know, Tuesday will probably be my last day off, depending on how much more improved by then. But tomorrow we catch up on what was the series premiere of the Winchesters, which was actually the day I did get sick. I just knew something was wrong when after I had a good day at work with Carrie Rutushin, the music instructor, and had a nice night in the neighborhood despite the Boar Fest, and I noticed something was wrong when I didn't want to watch the Winchester series premiere in real time. But hopefully come Tuesday when we'll show a lot more improvement by then for us to return Wednesday. And we'll probably, you know what, I'll just check just for the hell of it. So yeah, hopefully, okay, the Goldbergs this Wednesday will be the Terry Labonte installment. So hopefully I'll be back to work by then. And then Thursday we got the Johnny Benson installment of Lele, and the Mike Skinner installment of Flash. Hopefully I can start watching these in real time again like I used to. Excuse me, it's getting colder and colder now, and we're getting close to the Sandy Ridge 2022 finale. And Friday, I most likely won't be able to catch Villains and Ultra in real time by default, even if I wanted to. Which I think for Villains, I think it's going to be the Larry Foyt installment. And then, of course, Ultra's the Ty Dillon installment because of the ViaQuest basketball rager. So, therefore, I'm going to make an update video soon. On what the upcoming upload schedule is, you know, now that, you know, I'm starting to feel a little better, and, you know, what my mom and I planned out for next weekend. So, and, you know, when the Poker Game Night Season 1 finale is going to be with my dad. So, therefore, you won't want to miss that. But anyway, let's get into the episode. Okay, so anyway, I'll save the little update, you know, health update. Well, I kind of give a whole health update. Technically, I gave a whole health update in this, but I'll save like the updated upload schedule for another day. So, in another video. So anyway, so Lele and Sadie switch bodies. I mean, for some of us, it was hard to tell because you would think that they switched voices to go with switch personalities, but it just, the only thing that remained the same is their voices, except they switched personalities. It's like, you know, Lele still had her voice, except she had Sadie's personality, and somehow, because Sadie, Lele trapped in Sadie's body was able to freeze time. You know, Sadie's body had Lele's avatar abilities and powers, and Lele's body had nothing because it was all Sadie. So they kept the same voice except they switched body skills. So Sadie was freezing time because Lele was demeanor was trapped inside of her. So because she froze time at the elementary school, what you saw from the intro was the exact same outdoor shot as the villains of Valley View High School. I don't even know if that's even if that classroom even exists. In that same classroom exists in the Villains of Valley View universe, and even if it does, we're probably never gonna fucking see it there. But and does that same hallway that we see in Valley View exist in the Lele universe with this? We don't fucking know, because I know for the universe as a whole, the Lele universe takes place here in my home state in Ohio, even though they film it in California. It's the same thing with Valley View, even though they film that shit in California. In that universe, it takes place in Texas, where Preston and Brianna live, and hopefully, I'm not saying I want it to happen anytime soon, but if there's ever a day I have to leave Ridgeville, or let alone, leave Ohio altogether, I'd be perfectly content moving to Texas. It's more than just the San Antonio Spurs, because, we're not any good anymore. It'd be more than just that. And it'd be more than just, even if their lost suck ass. I'd be able to meet some people from Barney where I saw as kids when I was a kid myself that are still living in Texas, like Marissa Kier, Sarah Egan. I'd be able to meet them somehow. Jessica Zucha, Ricky Carter, I actually get to meet them. And, I get to meet Preston and Brianna. Also, congratulations to Brianna Paige Arsman Barnhart for reaching 8 million subscribers. Well deserved. I get to meet those fellas and their families and their friend group. That would be nice. Do a collaboration with them, Sorry. Yeah, but like, that's why it's just TV, and that they use that magic and special effects to make it look so realistic, which is why, you have to, if you're a fan that wants to learn how exactly everything works behind the scenes, rather than just seeing it for the final product on TV, you have to go to school for that shit, because me and my grandfather have talked about it many times in the past over the years, how you got to go to school for that, and how, they make the actors who play the androids look real. I mean, the actors are real life people, but remember how Marcus was the android, and just, Christina was the android, Mateus Ward, Angeline Apple. They probably used a dummy that looked exactly like the real them, and, made them, destroy that, because, androids aren't fucking real. But anyway, we're not, okay, but, yeah, it's a miracle how Lele, despite, Sadie being trapped in her body, it all worked out for her at the East Packer High School with, Tiffany and, Ashlyn's unnamed character and that Sophia girl, that Sophia lady. But yet, all of a sudden, Lele, trapped in Sadie's body, got banned from ever going to elementary school again. And at least, Lele and Sadie's bodies, said to, at least Lele and Sadie's body said to Sadie and Lele's body that they understood why she did it, as because, the kid, that little motherfucker, Randall, was asking for it. So that's probably why, the teacher, their third grade teachers, threw her a party in the teacher's lounge, but then said, okay, that kid asked for it, and he deserved it because he was not being all that nice to you, but you kind of went over the line at the same time. So, like, what you did was understandable, and maybe it was okay, but at the same time, it wasn't okay. So, actually, no. You tying a kid up, even in real life, or tying anybody up would be a massive deal in real life. Even if they're asking for it, but you don't do that. That's why it's just TV. But sometimes those shows will have consequences that you would get in real life too. That's why Sadie got banned from ever going to the school again, was not able to be on the Wall of Fame. They said, it was basically saying, like, we're not going to welcome you back to our school again, but at the same time, we're going to give you a party because you came back to visit us, and we understand, even though what we're punishing you, what you did, we understand why you did it. And he had no right to talk to you like that, so we're going to discipline him too. But yeah, so it all worked out for them, and they got their body switched back to normal like it was nothing. I don't know how the teacher and how those kids never noticed that something was odd about Sadie, but yet I guess, when David was still around, because he wrote this episode, then he, John, Ron, Will, Freddie, Wendy, Emily, Natalie, all the honchos at Nick, probably had them stage it, Because that's what part of TLT, part of, you know, the Hollywood, part of the, you know, part of, you know, filming shows in Hollywood is staging stuff, knowing that in real life it would seem obvious. How they, you know, staged it to make sure, you know, they staged it to pretend that they were Sadie acting weird the whole time, not really. They didn't figure out, you know, what was really going on. And I don't know how Tiffany and Sophia never figured out what was going on with Layla and why she was acting weird. I know Marky knows the secret because of season 1 cliffhanger from a year ago. But he's been absent a lot lately, so Peyton Perrine needs to pick up the fucking pace. And but you know how Layla's been keeping her secret, like, you know how the Maddens have been keeping their secret on Valley View, and how Adam, Chase, and Mrs. Oliveros was keeping their secret in Lab Rats until the end of season 2, when Principal Perry figured it out on her own, and then the rest of the world figured it out. You know, going at middle to end of season 3. You know, when S1 filmed them doing a mission that was successful and posted it, everybody figured it out. And, you know, the FBI, when Special Agent Dipshit wanted to take them away because they thought they were using their bionics for bad purposes, when, you know, when Douglas stuck up for him, saying, you're arresting the wrong people, this is who you want, Victor Crane, and all this other stuff. And so, you remember, Special Agent Graham, the dickhead, believed it. And then when Crane tried to attack them, to avoid, resisting arrest, that's when Miss Oliveras and then Adam and Chase, saved them. And that's when Special Agent Graham realized, okay, you guys use your bionics for good purposes. I mean, but for the little bit of that end of season 3, we all know they were kept away from Mr. Davenport for a while, but we all know that how that all turned out, because guess what? Season 4, they were all back together as a family, and all the other stuff that happened that we all know and since 2015, 16, and 17. Special Agent Graham didn't have him for long, so therefore eventually he turned out to have his true colors. Like, I know what happens, I just don't know how it happens. So therefore Special Agent Graham eventually got fired by the government and got arrested, so he was to prove how much of a dickhead he was. And it's the same thing. I mean, eventually, people figured out Adam, Mrs. Oliveras, and Chase, and I mean, Marky only knows about Lele, but it's only a matter of time before the Alexanders and the rest of the crew of characters on the show in this universe, this fictional Cleveland, Ohio universe, find out about Lele's secret. It's the same thing in Villains of Valley View. I mean, Celia was telling Declan, if you remember, on Friday night about the Maddens. I'm like, no, Celia, what the fuck are you doing? That's what helped Declan identify the family. Remember my reaction video to that on Friday? How Declan was like Marcus and, Amy, Billy Badass, knowing that Declan was bad news, kind of like it was like Leo knowing Marcus was bad news, and how, Miss Oliveras, Adam, Chase didn't want to believe Leo, but yet when they finally figured out Leo was right, it was too late. That's what I think is going to happen here with Villains of Valley View on Friday night. They're going to realize Amy was right, but by the time they figure it out, like the commercial I've been saying, it's going to be way too fucking late. So when Onyx, and the client, hold them at hostage, and I have a feeling season 1's gonna end on a cliffhanger, like towards the end of fall, and Adventures in Autumn. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, Lele doesn't have a true villain. I mean, action shows, action comedy shows like La Vida Lab Rat, Villains of Valley View, they're gonna have true villains. I mean, Ultraviolet Black Scorpion even has villains, Lele doesn't have a true villain. I mean, Barney only had one true only had like a true semi-villain, the Winkster. Remember the Winkster and Barney Live that came out the year I was born? I was a baby when Barney came to New York City for the TV show after doing the one with the Backyard Gang before I existed. Yeah, so the only thing that had close to a villain was the Winkster in 1994. Played by the original Barney performer David Voss, but then he turned good at the end. And Barney and the kids talked him into, I don't know if they talked him into being friends, or Winkster admitted he was lonely, wanted friends, and then he just joined the good side at the end. But the closest Barney had to a villain other than the Wingster was Cody, played by Trevor Morgan. But then he apologized to Barney. Remember Barney's Great Adventure during the second generation of Barney and Friends, in the 1997-2002 era, where Bob and David, stepped away from the real show to film that in Canada. And they had, future Barney voice actor Barney Performers take over, which basically we didn't know at the time was the beginning of the end of the Bob West, David Joyner era on the Barney and Friends show. So, that was the two closest Barneys has ever had to a villain. I mean, Lele doesn't have a true villain. I mean, if you count Graydon, that's or even Tiffany. Well, Tiffany's the lesser of two evils because she's been able to do stuff with Sadie and Lele every once in a while, despite not liking either one of them, especially Lele. But Graydon and Lugnut have said more mean things. I mean, if you look at, let's do this little side by side here. If you take Graydon and Tiffany's the lesser of two evils, because look at how, Tiffany and Lele trapped it, with Sadie trapped in her body, hugged it out, and, how everything worked out and how they worked together, how Tiffany invited Lele to work together with the body swap. See, that's something Graydon wouldn't do. Now, if you put Graydon and Lugnut together, sure, they were equally the two biggest assholes in season 1, but then Lugnut became the lesser of two evils, like I said in another reaction video. And Lugnut really doesn't work with them in his dirty tricks anymore, and Graydon's did not. If technically, Tiffany you can count as a frenemy, and Lugnut can count as let's say Tiffany is like a frenemy, sometimes friend, sometimes enemy. Lugnut is maybe he was a minor antagonist, but maybe now is a frenemy. But I would say Graydon, the fictional Graydon, is a minor antagonist. That's the closest Lele's had in the. Oh, now I remember the show, and I was thinking of that. I remember that probably doesn't have a villain. Bunk doesn't have any villains. I mean, Bunk doesn't have any villain. I don't know the closest they've had to having a villain, but there's unlike villains of Valley View here at La Vida Labyrinth here at Lele, there's no secrets to hide. So, the only reason why I'm bringing up these other shows because of the fact that, in terms of villains and secrets, if eventually the Labyrinth secret got let out in later seasons, the more seasons it got, the more longer it ran. If, the Madden secrets are slowly getting leaked as we're getting season 2 of villains next year, I'm pretty sure Lele's secrets eventually is going to get leaked too. So therefore, it's only a matter of time. It's probably going to strike the fans when they least expect it. So, but anyway, let's just continue talking about the rest of the episode. Now we talk about the subplot. Now Trish and Bryce. Bryce loves his hats, and Trish couldn't help herself and decided to make it hers. And Bryce got upset, so he tried to get back at Trish or make a point, saying, he wants to be a wig person. And, Trish understood why he did it. It's I get it, but yeah, I understood you made your point, but take that wig off, it looks bad on you. And then when he took it off, I thought he was going to go back to his normal hair, but that's where the Dennis Rodman joke came in at the beginning. And then they talked it out, and guess what? You can hate Trish, let him have his hats back, and I don't know if Bryce will probably stay in his lane about the wigs, but it all worked out in the end. So we got the Johnny Benson installment this Thursday. So therefore, I mean, there's going to be, hopefully once I'm nursed back to health by at the end of this coming week, besides the ViaQuest wager, we got a special surprise video coming for you this Saturday with my mom. So that's what I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's video before we do the Winchester series premiere reaction. So therefore, Tuesday we're gonna hit the reset button. Winchester's Rusty Wallace installment, Tuesday. Goldberg's Terry Labonte installment, Wednesday. Thursday, Lele, Johnny Benson installment, and Flash and Mike Skinner installment. Friday, the ViaQuest Basketball Ranger. Saturday, that thing with my mom that we're gonna do. That I'm gonna describe it. I'm pretty sure you guys all know what it is now. It's probably I'd be contradicting myself from calling out NASCAR for having the worst kept secrets. We're at the drivers and teams, and then, trying to be a worst kept secret. We're going costume shopping with my mom, but it's going to be more than that, just that. We're going to have a date. We're going to, get up early, somewhat semi-early in the morning, go to breakfast. I'll try to vlog that, and then I'll vlog, us shopping for the costume. And then when we get home and we end that video, I'll edit and upload that, and then we'll catch up on, the Ryan New. Well, no, let me count here. The Larry Foyt installment of Villains, the Ty Dillon installment of Ultra, and then, of course, next Sunday, the Ford 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Life will give you a lot of lows, but when you hit a high, enjoy it. It ain't for the weak. Goddamn, pace yourself, bring your ass, be you. You have to try harder to do less. You can't deport a dream. Sometimes the worst things in life lead to the best things. Always bet on the side of love. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Sometimes you just got to be present. You never fail until you stop trying. It never pays to worry too much about things. It's never too late to turn the day around. Another day on time, another day to shine. Sometimes you just got to flock yourself, trust your instinct, and stand up for yourself and not back down to anyone. Take care, everyone. Good night, and hopefully, not to mention, before aside from the Sandy Ridge 2022 finale at the early November, well, we're gonna be spending this winter helping Matt McKnight, Justin Rogerson, Cameron Beal, kickstart their YouTube careers by going to their houses to help them with editing and stuff and showing them how to do it in case I can't always be there to record with them or help them out. The merchandise videos with Supersonic Fan 113, Christmas Brother stuff for Justin Rogerson and Joel Trimmer. We got the Halloween Mike and Mo birthday rager on the 31st, the day after the Old Dominion 500 at Martinsville. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune PS1 game night. NASCAR Thunder 2004 Richard Petty Fantasy Cup, that mystery series on Thunder 03 or Richard Petty. I mean, not Richard Petty, Dale Sr. that only my mom knows about. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a winter to remember, and returning from last year will be the fall winter dinners with Abby Sorg, Debbie Sorg, Queen of Tearing Shit Up, and, Fireball Man's daughter and wife to see YouTube-less Gavin McMullen. So, see you later, everyone, and continue to pray for me.